Yeah, everyone, welcome back to Passing the Peace Pipe. We got your Chief Blitz Freak
Hey everyone!
and your Residential Shaman Packer, as always. This week we're going to be discussing ghosts and ghost ships. Do they exist? What are the phenomena surrounding them? And why are there so many sightings?
Good stuff. You ever seen what most people think is the ghost emoji?
The ghost emoji, like on your phone?
Everyone thinks the phone has a ghost emoji, but little do they know.
It's like some dark web shit.
Yeah, it's not a ghost. If it was a ghost, the smiley face would be white. The smiley face is a regular smiley face wearing a hood. It's a Klansman emoji.
The hood
Boom!
white?
The hood is white. No one even realizes.
What
Check
the
your phone.
fuck?
Everyone has a Klansman that looks like a ghost.
What? Ghost emoji? No.
True. There's
How
my
do
first
they
ghost story or
How the
Klansman
fuck
story.
can they get away with that?
I'd say they just didn't notice, and I'm probably the only person perceptive enough to think about that
It
shit.
just slipped under the radar.
It did. It slipped under.
Or major conspiracy. The Grand Cyclops has got his fingers in many pies.
So, I hear you got a few ghost stories you're going to be telling us?
Oh yeah. We'll go a bit more on the ships and whatnot tangent first off. So, back in like the 1920s, there was this ship called the SS Watertown, and it was like an oil tanker that did trips around America. But like on one of its voyages to New York, they have one of the most infamous photos of ghosts ever captured. And it's not a great photo because it was the 20s, it's in black and white, but it's still like pretty much got these two faces. So what happened was like this oil tanker was making a trip, and two of like the crew got in shit with the captain, and so he sent them on like disciplinary duties to go clean out one of like the tankers or something. But while they were in there, like the latch shut on them, and they just got trapped in there for hours and eventually died from the toxic fumes.
Oh, damn. Bad way to die.
Yeah, fucking oath. But then they found him. They found both of them, and they were just like, oh fuck. And like, yeah, they had a funeral at sea and everything, and buried them at sea as well. And they were like, fuck, real bad, but we still gotta make our delivery and whatnot. But the next day, like the deck crewman or something was out at like the back of the ship, and he swears he saw both of them, both of his crew members that had died, like swimming after them. And he was just like, holy shit, like spilled his coffee on himself and everything, ran inside and like told everyone. And it was just like, what the fuck? And then like they came out and nothing was there. And so like the captain was just like, nah, fuck this. And he had a camera, and like a really old one. And so for like the next like week, he was determined to just go to the back of the ship at like the same time, like around dawn, when the crewman said he saw them, and like take photos. And I think it was like on the fourth day or something, he fucking saw it, and he was like, holy shit. And he took 6 photos of it. And then he like locked the camera up in his cabin and everything to get it produced when he got back on land. And then yeah, they made the delivery and everything, and he got them produced, and like majority of them photos weren't really good, but yeah, one of them is shows like 2 faces coming out of the water at the back of this ship. They had it completely investigated and everything, make sure it wasn't tampered with or anything, but there wasn't much you could do to photos back that day to really
I mean, not much except
that.
draw on the top of them
Yeah,
afterwards, so it was
exactly.
pretty easy to
Yeah.
notice an
Photoshop
ancient
or anything.
Photoshop.
Yeah, fucking A. So yeah, and then yeah, they just really freaked out. But they sent like another crew to investigate on the voyage back. But then yeah, they weren't ever seen again once the first voyage was completed.
Okay.
So yeah, it was really weird.
That's a strange story, but
But yeah,
that
you
one
can-
you've at least got there are photos of
yeah,
that
yeah,
online.
yeah, yeah.
So you can
The
see
SS
that.
Watertown ghost. You can look that up.
Okay. A lot of strange stuff that happens at sea that people, I guess, have proven and taken photos of and stuff, but most people are still unaware of. I mean, I come from a fishing family, so some things maybe seemed more obvious to me, like St.
Man of the
Elmo's.
sea. Would you
Yes.
describe yourself as a seaman?
I am not a seaman myself. The rest of my family are seamen. Uh, I, however, prefer the land.
See, he laughed at the word seaman. That's not the mark of a true seaman.
Yes, it's not for me. I think I'd get a little bit seasick. I'm really quite surprised that all my family are seamen. One of them worked
Nice.
on an oil rig as well. He never saw anything weird.
No,
Although he,
really.
he did used to, before everyone had the internet and you could just illegally download everything, there used to be a thing on movies that would say, this is illegal, and it would tell you all the places it is illegal to download. One of the places that it was legal to download in the past was oil rigs. So we used to get great classics like Dennis the Menace 6 months before they'd come out in Australia. Brilliant. Now, if you look at the classifications in movies, you'll see that it does actually say this cannot be reproduced on an oil rig. Not a ghost story. That's more of a pirating story. So, yeah, there's a whole lot of effects that happen in the ocean which just seem strange. Like, I'd seen ghost ships when, like I was a kid in Disney movies, and they'd show these floating ships with
Like,
lights.
and like fog and shit around
There'd,
it.
there'd be fog, but a lot of the time there'd also be like flames around the wooden ships, but the ships aren't burning themselves, and that's how Disney used to represent ghost ships. But it's strange because it turns out this is a totally real effect. St. Elmo's fire is it's got to do with because our air is made up mainly of oxygen and nitrogen. When you sail things through storms, if the storm can ionize the oxygen, and then it starts to create basically plasma on the ship, and the pointiest parts of the ship will look like they are blasting, like normally blue, but flames off of the ship. You can be standing on the ship and it will look like the ship around you is on fire. Now, Disney had always added this to ghost ships to make them look scary, but it's called St. Elmo's Fire after, I think his name's St. Almos.
Oh, not from Sesame Street.
Not from Sesame
Nah.
Street. He's the patron saint of sailors. So obviously, in the past, real sailors must have considered St. Elmo's Fire to be a type of blessing. And I mean, nowadays people don't talk about it that much, but it still occurs. And I mean, a lot of famous people have recorded it. I mean, entire countries recorded it. The Romans recorded it.
So what? It just looks like the ship's on fire.
It looks like the ship is on fire.
Huh.
Like blue flames everywhere on it. Whereas in real life, blue flames usually start to become invisible, whereas these ones, very clear. But Darwin recorded it. Nikola Tesla, he actually made his Tesla coil accidentally created St. Elmo's fire once, which also has the side effect of when animals like butterflies get too close to the effect, their wings start to look like they're on fire.
That's
Creating
cool.
very ghostly effect. So sometimes when people say they've seen ghosts, I mean, there are real reasons. Obviously, we're not all at sea and we're not all in storms, but if you're wearing the right type of material, you could look like you have flames coming off you. And that's St. Elmo's fire. Shaman Packer has fallen asleep at the wheel.
Hell no, mate. I'm still here. Don't get me to drive though. Fuck.
So you ever seen any ghosts in real life?
None that. No, like, one on one with any specters or anything. But I've got something that like I say I can't explain to this day, and it was on like this kind of like ghost tour through like old Sydney where they like used to keep prisoners and shit. And it was like one of the first early settlements, and this guy took us, and it was like we were out on the sidewalk, but it was like this little staircase that went down and kind of like, um, you know, kind of like dips down on the side of the sidewalk, so you're kind of like at basement level. And this basement level of this old restaurant apparently had these, it had these massive windows and everything, so you could see in quite a bit. But yeah, and the guy tells the story and everything. Um, I think the father or something had some ties to some convicts, like he used to be one, and then like, he'd screwed them over, and they'd like broken out, and yeah, basically him and his family gets murdered in this basement. But yeah, the guy does the talk. We don't see anything, but everyone's taking their photos for like their digital cameras, because this is like, yeah, 2010 or some shit. Um, and yeah, we end the tour. No one's really seen anything. But then one of the girls in the tour group is just like, holy shit. And she's showing everyone like the little screen on her camera. And you can see like on the screen to like the right side, it's like this like 8, 10-year-old girl that's just completely white. It's just standing there.
God damn. And no, there'd be no filters. Not on a regular digital camera.
No, especially a fucking like older one like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then yeah, this was like 15, 20 minutes as for like we're all waiting for like the train. No, like I think it was like the ferry actually to take us somewhere. But then yeah, so it was like really recent, and there's like no way she would have like could have edited that in or anything. And then yeah, it's just like, and so many people saw it as well. It's just like on the photo. And yeah, I just have no way to explain that to this day.
That is pretty crazy.
I'm like, I don't know, maybe there's some sort of mirrors and like a reflection of a picture on like a mirror and bounces images.
Where was Chris
like,
Angel in 2010?
Exactly.
What was he doing? Walking around pretending he's a little girl in people's reflections. If there was
like maybe it was some sort of smoke and mirrors trick with like a picture of some sort of ghost girl, but short of that,
maybe
I don't know.
Maybe it was mass hypnosis. Maybe
Mass
the girl
hypnosis.
took the picture and she's just really good at hypnotizing people. Hypnotized you all,
Well,
so you can see a ghost in my photo. You see the ghost and you're like, oh my god, is hypnosis real?
What I reckon, if anyone's hypnotizing, the tour guide did look like a bit of a magician, to be honest. I think he was definitely wearing like a long black coat.
Did anyone
and like
leave
like a bit of a fancy hat
with sore bum holes, but no recollection of why?
No.
Then there may have actually been a ghost there. Ghosts. You know, I would suggest sometimes maybe they are real, because I was thinking before, I was like, I've never had any story that I can recall where I've come across anything that seems like a ghost. And I've done a lot of weird things, been a lot of weird places. But I think I made a ghost once. I made a ghost. Or possibly what people have seen in the past. Not like what you're talking about, but I'd suggest in the past people might have seen ghosts, but they're not really ghosts, and I can also explain the effects to people's brains. So I was working in a lab. Now, this story is going to sound pretty foolish, because it is, and you learn things when you first start working in labs. I had incredibly concentrated sulfuric acid. I should not have moved it from where I'd moved it, but I did. I did, because, well, long story, but I did. And I moved it back to my own work desk, and so it's obviously liquid. And near about maybe half a meter to a meter away from the concentrated sulfuric acid, I had concentrated hydrochloric acid. Now, I did not realize at the time that I knew these chemicals like each other and they desperately want to be together. I didn't realize that they could sense each other from nearly a meter away, start to vibrate so violently so that they turn themselves into gases so that they can reach each other. Didn't know this. Also didn't realise that it must have worked as a nerve agent, because I'm standing there, I start to see what looks like a ghost form in front of me, I start to get this weird nausea feeling, I look at my lab colleague as he walks over, and I say, "You see that ghost?" I realise at this point I can no longer move. I'm not scared. But I am petrified in the sense of I actually can't move. He says no, but he looks at me and I realise something is far more wrong with him than me. And I go, move the jar. He flicks his hand out, knocks one jar down the sink. The ghost vanishes. I'm able to move, or I get over into the corner, desperately trying to breathe, along with him, whilst then other people are asking, he's alright? And we have to say yes. Because the real answer was just too strange, plus they would have had to have locked the building down, and we didn't want to be those guys. So I will never be able to admit to this story being true again. But made a ghost.
Jeez.
I can make more. I can invade a country with ghosts, but when people realise they're real, it's too late anyway because they're going to die from the ghost fumes.
Yeah, I don't know. I've walked around in a lot of parks and woods at night, and I think if like any monsters were out there, they've definitely had their chance to wipe me out quite easily. There was even a point fucking like camping in the woods by myself for a couple of days. Just no human contact, and it was just like, yeah, if anything was out here wanted to fucking off me, easy, you know. And that's it. Like, you can't like really think your own place is haunted, because like if a ghost really wanted to kill you, they would just like be like, right, he's asleep for 8 hours now, and just gone, you know. Or they just get you on the shitter. Straight up.
But I do think though, I go, what power? Let's say ghosts were real. What's ghosts going to do to you nowadays? I go, I understand in the past, like you would have had to have, you go get a priest who then recites very basic words in Latin where they're like, ghosts get out. Is that a
ghost or a demon?
Ghosts get out. Oh mate, those priests, they do a little bit of everything.
What's the difference between a demon possession and a ghost possession?
Okay, I have never heard of anyone being possessed by a ghost. Boom.
Boom.
Maybe as soon as it possesses you, that's when they immediately call it demonic.
Okay.
Maybe it's just one of these bullshit things. So a priest goes, no, you've got a ghost. It's just oh god, it's in the body. Okay, it's a demon? It's a demon now.
Well, yeah, a demon's supposed to be like from hell, and like dead people go to hell.
Yeah.
And then they come back, and a ghost is a dead person that's come back.
Okay, I would think if ghosts were going to be around, their time was before electricity, because electricity would have to mess with them horribly, and it was definitely before vacuum cleaners. I mean, you want to haunt me, motherfucker?
Ghostbusters.
I will fill my vacuum full of human feces, and I will suck you through it 100 times a day. That's what happens when you come to haunt me. Prepare to smell the shit, motherfucker. You don't want to be a ghost in today's society. Not the right time. Ghost animals? Never seen one. Not a big point of conversation. So could all heart attacks and strokes be ghost caused then?
Oh, you never know. It could be.
Are
You just maybe it's a failed possession of a ghost, and like you stroking out is your body defending you.
True. Maybe ghosts are so angry about what we talk about because it's probably 3 in my room now going, are you kidding me? We've already killed 2 old people in your neighborhood today. Like, we're pretty dangerous.
Imagine
and you guys
just being on the sidelines 24/7. You would get pissed off. You'd be like, what the fuck? This is not how things should have gone.
And if anyone was going to see ghosts, look, it would have to be people like you and me. We'd have to see them all the time because here's what I know. People who pass
Not
the
old
peace pipe.
people?
No, people who pass the peace pipe. The smell of that often attracts flies and pretty much everything alive, and I'm guessing dead as well. So like, why would ghosts not want to hang out with us? What are they gonna do? You can hang out with a smackhead. That doesn't help you. You get nothing. But you pass the peace pipe. I mean, we are terraforming their environment. They're just, they're moving along going, oh, I'm so angry. Now they're like, oh, yeah, okay, I can chill. Yeah, maybe that's why we don't see them. They're around all the time, and they're quite happy.
Well, that could be fair enough. Just keep your ghost happy and you're all good.
Should have got one of them to be a special guest.
Special guest.
How do you think people would feel the sound of silence for 2?
But I heard you knew a bit about ghost ships, like the ones that rock up with no crew out of nowhere.
Well, ghost ships. I mean, ghost ships are a weird term. Like we like talking about, like the one you told me at first, like with the faces in the water.
Yeah,
I go,
yeah, yeah.
I think that's really more paranormal. Like that's a ghost effect. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Whereas most ghost ships are literally when there's no one there, they can't explain it. Like they picked up a ship 180 k's off the coast of Queensland, Australia, and there was just no one on it. Looked rusty. They said piles of rice on there, but it didn't look like anyone had been living on it. It could have been getting towed to be scrapped.
Probably people smugglers, to be honest.
Well, yeah, but it's weird that the government said they didn't think that was the case only because it didn't look like anyone had been.
Because they've stopped the boats. They can't admit to it.
I would agree with you. on that because
it's ghosts.
They call it a ghost ship. They can't find where it's left from or any of its details.
That's
but
it. You don't
again,
know when the paranormal
smugglers.
is just some government activity being covered up.
Yeah, like they probably got off 100 k's away from the shore, took other boats in that wouldn't be spotted as easy,
Yeah, exactly.
and they let this float away. But the Australian government then takes it, I think, further offshore, so you're going a few hundred kilometres now, and then they scuttle it at sea. So I wonder how many ships are actually scuttling every day that are considered boat ships. My guess is
Considered ghost ships.
and they'd just be considered ghost ships.
Yeah, not boat ships. I think all
Are all boat ships boats and ships? They probably
is
are.
every ship a type of boat, and is every boat a type of ship? I think ships can be boats, but boats can't be ships.
I feel neither of us know enough about boats. I reckon if
I
the
feel
boating
like a
community was listening right now, they would be so
They
angry.
would be outraged.
They'd go, these people have no idea, and here they are talking
I
about
think a
ghost
ship
ships.
needs to be large,
Like, is it still a ghost ship story
and a
if
boat can be small
you're at sea on
or
your
any
dinghy?
size.
Like,
Well, no, I think a dinghy would still be a boat, but you wouldn't be able to call it a ship.
so it's a ghost boat story.
Yeah.
Because you never hear about anyone
What
with a
about
ghost
fucking
dinghy story.
Dinghy? Yeah, ghost dinghy. No, what's there to haunt?
Well, the other side of the dinghy.
The other side of the dinghy.
And you.
What? You like the barnacles underneath? What do you?
No, they just sit at the top of the boat and harass you, the other person in the dinghy.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I thought you meant it just floating about.
No, it's in the fucking boat with you.
Oh, well, fuck. Then,
Yeah.
no, that's not good. That's too close.
But that still wouldn't be a that wouldn't be a ghost
close
ship
quarters.
story. That'd be a ghost dinghy story. Whoa, 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 whoa. Way too slow, Blitz freak. Passing the Peace Pipe was brought to you by Passing the Peace Pipe and Chief Blitz freak and Shaman Parker.
So that's all for this week. We're out. Peace.